Hello friends, welcome to today's class. I am teacher Fiona. Today, I have another interesting topic for discussion. So please, get seated, grab your notepad and pens, and let's dive into the topic. Today our topic is structure of a sentence. Structure of a sentence. Structure of a sentence. Today we are talking about structure of a sentence. So let's see the structure of a sentence. Now, introduction. There are 8 structures of sentences you can use in your writing. There are 8 structures of sentences you can use in your writing. I mean 8 structures of sentences you can use in your writing. There are 8 structures of sentences you can use in your writing. I have a question for you before we move on. What are the 8 components of or structures of a sentence? What are the 8 components or structures of sentence? Let's see the 8 structures of the sentence bodies. The answer is they are subject, predicate, direct and indirect objects, object of preposition, verb, phrase, and complement. These are the 8 structures of a sentence. So take notes. We are going to take them one by one and learn about them. So take note of the 8 structures. Now, we begin with subject. The person or a thing about which something is stated is subject. A subject is a structure of a sentence. And when we talk of subject refers to the person or thing about which something is stated. The subject is the person or thing about which something is stated. So this is the meaning of subject. Example, Mary has a cat. So Mary is the subject here. John is my friend. John is the subject there. So 2, the second structure of a sentence is predicate. It is that part of a sentence that tells something about the subject. It is that part of the sentence that tells him something about the subject. Example, Mary has a cat. So has a cat is the predicate. John is my friend. So is my friend is the predicate here. So predicate is that part of sentence that tells something about the subject. Now, the third structure is direct object. A person or thing which receives the action. Direct object is a person or thing which receives the action of the verb. So we have example, Susan ate breakfast. Breakfast here receives the action. So breakfast is the direct object. Then Nina read the book. The book is the direct object here. The book is receiving the action of the verb. The breakfast is receiving the action of the verb. The fourth structure is indirect object. Indirect object is a person or thing that the action is done to. A person or thing that the action is done to or for. It is the receiver of the direct object. It is the receiver of the direct object. Take note. It is the receiver of the direct object. It follows the verbs and answer the question whom. It follows the verb and answer the question whom. It follows the verb and answer the question whom. So just take note of it. So, examples of indirect objects here. The indirect object usually comes before the direct object. They usually comes before the direct object. So, we have example. Amy gave them the pen. Amy gave them the pen. Them is the indirect object. And the direct object is the pen. The direct object here is the pen. The indirect object is them. So, example 2. He served his father the food. He served his father the food. The food is the direct object and his father is indirect object. He served his father the food. So the food becomes the direct object. Okay, so the next structure of a sentence is object of preposition. Object of preposition. It is a noun or pronoun that provides meaning. It is a noun or pronoun that provides meaning. Example, the cat is looking at the mouse. The cat is looking at the mouse. So the mouse here is the object of preposition. What is the cat looking at? It is looking at the mouse. They are brushing their teeth. Example 2, they are brushing their teeth. They are brushing their what? Their teeth. They are brushing their what? Their teeth. So, the sixth structure is verbs. 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 Verbs are part of speech that describe an action or occurrence. Verbs are part of the speech that describes an action or occurrence. Example, I ran a lot. I ran a lot. Run is the verb here. Run is the action word. So it's the verb here. Perry is a teacher. Perry is a teacher. So is the verb here. Is the verb here. Perry is a teacher. Perry is a teacher. Is the verb here. So the seventh structure. Phrases. Phrases. A phrase means a group of words that make some sense but not a complete sense. A phrase means a group of words that makes some sense but not a complete sense. It may not have a subject or a predicate or both. It may not have a subject or a predicate or both. So a phrase may not have a subject, it may not have a predicate, or it may not have a subject and predicate as well. So take note of that. Example of phrases. Mavis does a lot of tedious work. Mavis does a lot of tedious work. A lot of tedious work here is a phrase. It doesn't make a complete sense. It makes some sense but not complete sense. I was reading a book. I was reading a book. Was reading makes some sense but it doesn't make a complete sense. So these are the examples of phrases. It does not make a complete sense. It makes some sense but not a complete sense. So take note of the examples of phrases. So let's move on to the eighth structure. The eighth structure is complement. 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 A word or a group of words that complete the meaning of a subject or an object or a verb. A word or a group of words that complete the meaning of a subject or an object or a verb. Example, the park is beautiful. The park is beautiful. Beautiful is the complement here. Beautiful is the complement here. Cigarette smoking is harmful. cigarette smoking is harmful. So harmful here is the complement. Harmful is the complement. Guys, we end the lesson here with some quiz. It's quiz time. Try your hands and answer them in the comment section. Which type of component receives a direct action? Which type of component receives a direct action? Type your answer in the comment section. Quiz 2. What are the components of sentences? What are the components of sentences? We learned there are 8, so you state them in the comment section. Then now let's move on to the last quiz. He is walking towards the door. He is walking towards the door is an example of which component? The door. The door is an example of which component? Put your answer in the comment section for us to see whether you understood very well. Okay, buddies. So, friends, today's lesson ends here. Please keep practicing with family and friends. And make sure to like, subscribe, and share to your friends to also learn. And until we meet for the next lesson, be good, guys. Stay put. Bye bye. See you in our next lesson. Ciao, ciao, my buddies.